Okay, so in the last video we talked about completing the square and how to find that C value. Remember, it was to divide your C or your B by 2 and then square the result. That's how we get C. So we're going to do what we call completing the square. What completing the square is it is taking our parabola or our quadratic that is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, okay? And we're going to be rewriting it as x plus, okay, some number squared, okay? And then it will be plus another number. Now we tend to change this to HK as we get to going on there, but we're just basically rewriting the form from what we would call standard form to vertex form, okay? So we're changing the way we're writing our formula. And again, there's some set of steps that we're going to do. So let's just watch the steps and then we'll kind of go back in and write them out, okay? So step number 1 is always going to be to move the C value that you have now, in this case the 3, we're going to move it to the other side, okay? That's going to be the first step. Now then, we're going to be taking this and we're finding a new C value, okay? And here's the thing, when I add that C value to this side, so that I don't change it, I also must add it to this side, okay, because I'm pulling a new number. So we're going to follow the rule to find C. It is take half of 4, which is 2, and then square that number, which again is 4. So I added 4. That means I need to add 4 to this side, okay? Now I want you to think about it. If you took that plus 4 off, you could move the 3 back over and then back up with your same. So I have not changed the value of my equation. I'm going to now factor this, just like what I did. You've got x, and if you wanted to, you could put this step in. I'll go ahead and put it in this first time. X and x, what are factors of 4 that give you 4? That's 2 and 2. So this is x plus 2, rewriting it, squared equals 1. And now what we have it looks like are solved by completing the square, okay? So, solved by square root method. So in order to solve this, I would now square root both sides, and I'm going to get x plus 2 equals 1, and x plus 2 equals a negative 1. From there, you're just going to go ahead and solve. So x equals a negative 1. And x equals a negative 3, okay? And I could definitely come back up here and check that, because I could put a negative 1 squared plus 4 times a negative 1 plus 3 and see if I get 0. So a negative 1 squared is 1. 4 times a negative 1 is a negative 4 plus 3. And yes, because 1 and 3 is 4. And so that does check, okay? So it does work. That is called solving by completing the square, okay? So again, let's come back up and let's just write some steps down as to what we just said we were going to do, okay? So number 1 step, okay, is we're going to move C to the other side. Okay, so you want to make sure in this case we'll say we're going to move it to the right, okay, to the right side. Okay, then we are going to complete the square on the left side. Okay, 3. We're going to add the new, I'm going to call it the new C value, to both sides. okay? And then 4, we want to factor the left, okay? And then from there, we'll do the solving by square root. So again, let's just read what we say. On number 8, move the c to the other side. So I'm going to just add that over. Okay, if you need to put plus 2, be sure you do it correctly. You are moving it over, okay? Now I am going to complete the square on the left side. That means to take the negative 2, divide it by 2, okay? And if you need to come out to the side to do that, I get a negative 1, and then square that result, and I get 1. So I'm going to add 1, and as it said, add the new c to both sides. That is a key. Okay. Now it says factor the left. Okay. And guys, this will always be x plus whatever you squared. Okay. In this case, that's going to be a minus. Okay. Minus 1. So it's always whatever you squared. This sign will always match this sign. So in this case, we've got the plus here, plus here. Those two signs will always match, okay? This sign will always match. That squared equals, and then just simplify on the right, okay? Now I can do the square root method. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. This is going to give me x minus 1 because square and square root cancel, equals plus or minus, that's always both, the square root of 3. I'm going to move the 1 over. X equals. Now, you cannot take the whole number 1 and the square root of 3 and actually put them together unless you put the square root of 3 in the calculator and got a decimal value. We will do that at times, okay? But for right now, we're just going to leave our answer in what we call exact form. Okay, so exact form means radical. Okay, an estimate means decimal. Okay, and so in this case it would be, and we always put the whole number first, 1 plus or minus square root of 3. So when you see this, the square root will always be on the right, your whole number will be on the left, your plus or minus is always in the middle. Okay, and again, when you go to graph this, then you would take the 1, you're going to take the square root of 3 and put it in your calculator, 1.732, and then it's 1 minus 1.732. So my two answers would be 2.732, and I don't know what that would be. What is that? 268? 0.268. No, take that back. Sorry, my brain's fried. How about a negative 0.732? I'm just trying to take it like from 2, not from 1. Negative 0.732. Okay, check my numbers, please. And then that would be your estimated. So if you were going to go graph, you would have to have an estimated value. That would be, you'd roughly do 2.7 and 0.7. Okay? So that is completing the square. Let's try another one. So again, the first thing to do is move the c over. Okay, I am going to divide the 8 by 2, that's 4. Square 4 and get 16, so it's plus 16 to both sides. Okay, when I do my perfect square, it's always the x. Again, it's whatever you squared here, and sometimes I'll just write that as 4 squared instead of even multiplying it out. So that would be plus 4 equals 18. Okay? So the key here is being sure you understand where that number comes from. Square root both sides. So this is x plus 4 equals the square root of 18 plus or minus. Okay, now this is the method that I use. You can do it in kind of any different order, but if this side, if the right side here can be simplified, I go ahead and get it simplified first. So we did simplifying of radicals. So we know this is 9 and 2. So 3 square root of 2. So this is x plus 4 equals plus or minus 3 square root of 2. Move your 4 over. So x equals a negative 4 plus or minus 3 square root 2. Final answer. Again, you could run that in your calculator if you needed to get a decimal value. Okay, I'm going to stop this video and then finish the next 3 in the next video.